Thank you very much. I grew up on a farm on the Rio Grande and outside Laredo, Texas, which the Census Bureau said was the poorest city in the United States. And as poor as Laredo was, it really didn't compare to the poverty in Nuevo Laredo, Mexico, which is right across the border. And as a kid, this mystified me as to why there would be so much more poverty on one side of the river versus the other side of the river. And when I discovered libertarianism in my late 20s, I figured out the answer. And this is the most glorious political and economic philosophy in the history of mankind. You see, statists ask, what are the causes of poverty? But libertarianism asks, what are the causes of wealth? And this is what I figured out, that when people are free to accumulate unlimited amounts of wealth, engage in enterprise freely, they save part of their money, they put it in the banks, the bank lends it to their employer who invests in productive tools and equipment, which makes the workers more productive, which increases revenue, which increases wages through the virtues of labor competition. And then you've got trade involved in this. In every trade, people benefit because they're giving up something they value less for something they value more. So this is a philosophy that has figured out the cure for poverty. And so we are the hope for everybody in this world that is suffering starvation or near starvation. Martin Luther King said that we live under a government that is the greatest purveyor of violence in the world. And no one can deny that. Invasions, occupations, sanctions, embargoes, assassinations, drug war, immigration controls, there's death everywhere. And we're the hope for the victims of this warfare state. Blacks. Don't tell me that there's not structural racism in this country. Every single black in this country knows that the drug war is the most racist government program since segregation. Blacks receive disproportionately higher jail sentences than whites, and they're stopped more often, and they have their assets confiscated more often. We are their hope. Inflation. The middle class and the upper middle class can adjust, but not people that are on paycheck to paycheck, that are barely making ends meet. We are their hope. And then there's the immigrants. The people that are dying as a result of this evil and malevolent system in the backs of 18-wheelers from asphyxiation, or dying in the lonely desert in the Southwest of dehydration or thirst, or dying of drowning across the Rio Grande with a toddler that drowns with them, dying from falling off the Berlin Wall, or being cut by concertina wire, or being shot in the abdomen by Border Patrol. We are their hope. And we've been their hope for 53 years. And if the day ever comes in this party that we abandon that hope and join the ranks of Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Greg Abbott, in the support of this evil and malevolent system, then the light of hope is extinguished to a large extent in this party. And it will be a dark day in the history of that party if this ever happens. When I joined this party some 30 years ago to be invited to serve on the platform committee, I didn't ask who was running for president, how many members we had, what our money was. All that mattered to me was I wanted to be part of a small party that was adhering to liberty and was providing hope for mankind. We have a lot of darkness in this world, and we've seen a lot of darkness with respect to freedom over the last 30 years. But we are the light that lights this darkness, and we must continue to do that. We must never waver in making this light ever more intense and ever more brighter. Because not only are we the hope for the poor, the downtrodden, the teeming masses yearning to breathe free, we are the hope for mankind.